Hello, in this presentation, I'll be giving some very brief concluding remarks to the problem of motion planning for multiple autonomous vehicles. In case you just landed up at this video, the link to various videos covering this research topic should either be at the video description or you can check this account for similar videos. Now, basically, we saw two different kinds of problems being solved. In the first, we were trying to generate a trajectory for a single vehicle or a group of vehicles which constitutes the entire transportation travel plan. And in the second, we looked at various traffic entities to solve the problem of intelligent management of the transportation system. Of course, a brief interest was the problem of routing or congestion avoidance. So in trajectory generation, we said that there's a problem of planning where we only consider a single vehicles, and the problem of coordination where we decide how the vehicles interact with each other. When it comes to planning, this is a table which nicely compares and contrasts the different methods. So maybe you can pause the video and take some time to go through it to verify for yourself. Optimality, of course, states can the algorithm find the best solution. Completeness, if a solution is possible, can the algorithm find it? The computation time, how much time does it take to find the solution? How does the solution scale up to increasing the number of vehicles and obstacles? And whether the algorithm just gives the final solution or the solution in fact improves with time. And when I order the algorithms in increasing optimality, completeness, and computation time based on the previous slide, this is what comes up. Of course, there are some assumptions of scenarios over here. And for the problem of coordination, here's another table that you should take time to look at, which states what were the some algorithms assumed communication between the vehicles, others did not. Some assumed the roads to be one ways, the others were for two ways. And I comment upon the optimality as well as the complexity or the computation time. And here are the rest of the algorithms. So coordination, of course, as in general we saw that some techniques were deliberative, which extended the trajectory, which deliberated over the trajectory, thought over it, and some others simply saw the situation and decided this is what needs to be done. Some were cooperative, so a vehicle behind and a vehicle ahead. For this overtake to happen, this vehicle should shift or dip in towards the left, and some were non-cooperative where this vehicle simply travels straight. And the cooperative ones were better. Likewise, the deliberative ones were computationally more expensive and better. There's an always overtake strategy where the vehicle behind completely always attempts to overtake and always pushes up for this vehicle to cooperate. And some others decided some kind of feasibility wherein the vehicle behind says that is the road broad enough, so if the road will be this narrow, it will say that the overtake is not possible and it will not initiate the overtake. And similarly was the speed determination. Some coordination strategies saw the scenario and said that this is the magic number, this will be the magic speed that you need to fix. And some other tried for an array of assignments, say 10 miles per hour, 9 miles per hour, 8 miles per hour, 7 miles per hour, in order to decide the best speed. Of course, these algorithms would be more computationally expensive, likewise like the deliberative techniques and the computational feasibility. These algorithms will be more computationally expensive, and at the same time they are regarded to be more optimal. Now, in general, what happens if I have different algorithms, the planning algorithms or the coordination algorithm over here, and I arrange them by the increasing optimality? Almost similar thing that I would observe for completeness. So optimality and completeness, if it increases for different number of algorithms, which is good, that I need algorithms which are optimal and complete, the unfortunate thing that will happen is that the computation time will also increase. And in fact, that's why we did not experiment with algorithms which were optimal at the same time complete and not near optimal and near complete, with lesser assumptions, because they would have taken forever and would have not given the results within the, say, 1 second or so that we need for our near real-time algorithm performance. And that is why it is very important to trade off between these. We should know that what is the computation time depending upon the computational resources. We should know what kind of scenario exists, and based on that we can trade off between these objectives, trying to find out the best optimality and the best completeness for whatever is the available computation time. Now, overall, what I conclude here is similar to what different people have said for different domains. For whatever domain they represent, the story seems to be the same, which many new researchers they find it difficult to digest. Now, there was a problem. We solved it by a bouquet of methods, but the problem is that we still cannot say which algorithm is best even for a very specific problem. And why cannot we say that this algorithm is the best as compared to all the other algorithms? Because it is too much dependent upon the scenario. It's too much dependent on the number of vehicles, the position of vehicles, the speeds of the vehicles, what are the general assumptions in the environment, and all these things. For different situations, different algorithms prove out to be the best. And hence, from this current research, there is no perfect algorithm, there is no best algorithm, as is the case with the other domains and the other similar problems, or in fact even other very different problems. But for traffic scenarios like this, what we can have is, if we have an algorithm for situational assessment that basically takes in a snapshot of whatever interesting thing is happening in the traffic, whatever is the traffic scenario, and it can assess the situation, and correspondingly, so if here are all the algorithms, it can assess the situation and it can select the best algorithm. Then might be we have the best algorithm or the most perfect algorithm. The problem is, of course, that situational assessment is a big area of research in itself. It will be a big domain in itself. It will be a big problem in itself, which will bring in more assumptions and all. It's currently a very abstract idea. It's a very abstract concept that what does the situational assessment actually mean, or what does it actually do. But if we can analyze the situation and we can select which algorithm is best as per that specific scenario, we can have really good algorithm performance, or we can perform well in all of these scenarios possible. And the second problem was, of course, the trajectory generation. Here basically different algorithms were not presented. What was commented upon was that how will the different transportation infrastructure entities be performing, what would they be doing and what would they not be doing, and what considerations and what objectives would they be having. Particularly we saw the problem of routing, which enabled making good decision making in order to avoid congestions. Now, in this particular domain or in this particular branch, we've been more or less consistent. We have proposed in multiple scenarios, we have proposed in multiple ways in which this can perform, but we can mix and match. Now, when we say we can mix and match, we can basically have an algorithm that computes the start time and the route depending upon the recurrent nature of the traffic. So I use the same algorithm as presented in the previous video, where I select this start time and route assuming that the traffic is recurrent in order to reach to the goal, and then I say that my congestion avoidance in city traffic algorithm actually drives in my car, or it actually real time recomputes and replans my route so that non-recurrent trends do not traffic congestion do not happen. So I can get rid of both the recurrent as well as the non-recurrent traffic congestion. Now, of course, the transportation objective as we presented is different, and therefore we did not try experimenting out with such combinations or with such mix and match techniques. And various techniques here can mix and match. So it is possible to study the different algorithms and come up with a unanimous transportation concept, or come up with a unanimous way in which the different transportation entities behave. the research was towards this direction. But in general, what we have is that the way you avoid congestion or the way you route vehicles or the way different entities behave is entirely dependent on the type of traffic that you have. Sometimes the traffic may be only recurrent, sometimes it may have too much non-recurrent trends, sometimes there may be too many roads and too less vehicles, sometimes there may be too less roads, no alternative routes, and too much of traffic. Sometimes all the offices may be at one area and the homes at other areas, so traffic is highly directional. Sometimes it's all jumbled up where anyone is going at any sides. Sometimes there may be no alternative routes available, so you have to go with the same route, you have no choice. Sometimes there may be too many choices to choose from. Sometimes everybody goes for things which are fixed in time, so that is the time they have to reach. Sometimes people at some city, the economy would be like that, people are very flexible, they can come and go anytime. So all these things have a great impact on the way that you handle the traffic or the way that you handle your transportation infrastructure. And the very practical way to look at it would be that the transportation authorities, say in London, they look at what is the kind of traffic where congestion is happening, and based on that they decide whether a flyover is to be constructed, whether a new road is to be formed, whether some kind of traffic is to be diverted, whether some roads are to be converted to one ways. So depending upon what type of people are coming, why are they coming, where are they coming from, where are they going, they analyze all this and then they decide which one of these actions which are available with the transportation authority needs to be taken. They don't say like for Leeds, this is the thing that we need to do. They don't do that. People sitting at London do not decide for Leeds, where they have no idea of what kind of transportation infrastructure is there, what's the general kind of traffic. Now, because this transportation infrastructure has a very deep impact on the algorithm performance of each one of these concepts, and therefore that's why any kind of study can be specialized to a region, it can be specialized to a kind of traffic infrastructure, it can be specialized to any kind of traffic in order to make the best decisions or the best objectives for the overall transportation system, which I believe would be a great work for the future. And with this we end this presentation and the entire series of presentations and videos that we had. Thank you.